Hello
How
there.
long have we been running for?
Uh, you just got here and I've been waiting for like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Not bad. Alright, let's get going. Let's get started.
Yeah, life's going great for me.
What way?
Well, uh, I haven't seen much bad, like affecting me. There's so much stuff going on. It's just, it feels like it's all upside down and the tables have turned.
Well, interesting things have happened.
Yep.
America has now effectively initiated the U.S. House has effectively basically allowed mandatory like service. So effectively, like near World War III, they're about to announce it.
Well, well, well.
Don't
Guess the apple
even
doesn't fall far from the tree.
the two biggest the two biggest countries, right? I've just said we're going to get mandatory service back in. If that's not a sign that World War III is happening, or a sign that they're about. I don't know what is.
Neither do I.
Also, supposedly there was Russian submarines off the coast of the UK as well. But
Uh-huh.
you're saying about the gold? Did a post about the gold standard?
Yeah. So people have all said that Richard Nixon was the one that got rid of the gold standard.
So
What I said in the chat, it was actually FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was the president that actually ignited the suspension of the gold standard for the US dollar.
interesting. So they blamed him. So the Jewish scumbags used him as a scapegoat for that. Then effectively.
Well, the thing is, I have never heard anyone talk any bad about Franklin Roosevelt. And of course, I did say a couple months ago that it's like one of the few presidents, actually the only president in my opinion, who has gone more than 2 terms. Like he was president for like 3 whole terms at least.
Why does nobody talk about that?
That is what I'm asking. Why nobody was talking about Roosevelt and
Was that
why
because was that during a war or something?
I think during the time his presidency it was close approaching World War II.
You don't think Biden might be using that as this precedent with Franklin, surprisingly, but you don't think he would use World War III as a precedent to allow him to stay in office?
You know, that could be likely. However, given the state that he's in, and even his own party are saying we need some kind of new young leadership. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I want to be sure. I do not think he might be around for much longer. But that's me.
Personally, think he's already dead and it's an actor playing him, but sure. Supposedly, it was it again. There's a post I think sent in a couple days ago. What was that? Yeah. So effectively, yes. The East will effectively every 100 years they switch out the main currency, right?
Yes, that's plausible.
They switch out
Question.
the main current. They switch out the main currency. They back it by gold, and then slowly over time they'll remove it from gold. They back it from gold, and they'll be able to print money. The Rothschilds have supposedly are very friendly with the Saudi government. Saudis,
Of course, there would be.
who's effectively very power, who's effectively one of the big guys in BRICS.
Oh yeah. Speaking of BRICS, have you heard of the new BRICS equivalent currency?
I heard that they're creating a new transaction system that allows them to effectively swap with anybody they want and without being sanctioned. Apparently,
Yes, but of course, it's not just a transaction system. They're actually creating their own internalized monetary token or currency within BRICS. And for every BRIC token, it's going to be equating to 55 US dollars.
why are they backing it by dollars?
I'm not saying they're backing it by dollars, But when it's introduced, they're going to say that for every brick token, it's going to be valued equivalent to $55. Of course, they're going to be backing it with something else.
Yes, yes.
Yes, indeed.
It seems like Farage is picking up in the polls. Whether that'll do anything or not is the question. But
Well, Reform UK are certainly stealing Tory votes, which, of course, is making the landslide Labour majority more likelier than ever.
But in the outside, what's the chances that that could allow them to become the next opposition?
Well, as of now, it's like a few weeks, but as of now, it's unlikely. However, at the pace that Reform UK are growing at, anything is possible at this point. People want change. They're gonna vote for change. They're not gonna be open about it. But of course, when we least expect it, who knows?
Nobody's talking. Would it be fair to say that nobody's taking into account the youngsters, the 18-year-olds, the people that are sick and tired system? From what it looks like, they don't I don't think they're taking into account that Farage Reform's got a young audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Politics.
I've seen a lot of people talking about the young voters and how much support they have shown
They're giving.
for reform. It's absolutely wild.
Don't ever say never, because literally Mario Le Pen's party was literally backed by youngsters, like people in their early 20s, backing Le Pen. Did you hear about the fact that literally this guy that was wanting to form a coalition government with Mario Le Pen, right? He was basically ousted by his own MPs, but they were elected
Oh
by.
yeah, I've seen a video on TikTok about that. It's apps that I'm lost for words.
Like, I'm surprised the French are not rioting under that. Like, oh, we elected you people, and you're ousting the guy that we voted for. That's some type of like freaking communist shit there, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Supposedly Macron's wife is supposedly a Rothschild anyway, or a Rothschild bastard. I am questioning though, is Farage a Rothschild? Is he related to them? Is he one of those bastards? Sort of question. But
if you would know by now, you would know. But of course, no one's gonna know about it because of course the mainstream, the legacies, and whoever. If people found out about that, it would go wild. It's gonna go worldwide. Everyone's gonna talk about it, and of course, there's gonna be riots. But otherwise, not much fuss to be made if people don't know about this.
people don't know much.
Yeah, if people don't know about it,
Is
like
Logan
we,
Paul becoming one of did Logan Paul get paid to move over to the right? Because he's doing podcasts with people that are morally conservative. Like, he did a podcast with Donald Trump. He did a podcast with this religious guy. Like, is he just doing this because he's trying to get views, or
that anyone's doing anything for these. Anyone's doing anything for publicity these days.
yeah?
It wouldn't be out of the question if he was. But then another question: if Logan Paul is engaging with people on the right, what does that say with his previous interactions with people that were on the left, if any? Because how else we had the connections to be where he is today?
The government manifesto reform will promise to abolish IR35, lift the VAT threshold to 150, and lower corporate tax to 15%. Who knows if that's good or not? But
The lower the tax, the better, because at least there's more money for said business to effectively use that money to better its services. So if it's gone up, then that's a red flag.
Duda breaking from the peace summit. I promised Russia is divided into 200 ethnic states. Wait, these neocons want to break Russia up.
In what way exactly?
Supposedly, they want to make it up into 200. Russia divided into 200 ethnic states. Russia is the world's largest colonial power, which keeps captive 200 ethnics.
Well, if in the case
That's a
they
load of
do,
bullshit.
well, even if they do break up, how are they going to administrate themselves
Exactly.
independent from
How are
Russia?
they going to freaking administrate themselves, right? They're tiny nations, right?
I mean,
I
it is
get
possible, but
this.
how
It is
at this day
possible.
and age,
They'll be
how?
at this point. It is possible, but at the end of the day, they'll just be vassal states. They'll have fuck all power, Again, this is what they want. They want they want Russia, all of Russia, to be broken up into multiple different states, right? They want it to all be broken up. They want it to be. They want to turn effectively. They want to do what they did to the Ottoman Empire, right? They want to turn it into a fucking fistpale that basically is fighting with each other. I will never be able to pose a threat to the Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, oh, but Russia's the colonial power.
And if people are talking about Russia being a colonial power, what about the UK or France? They have overseas territories from the old days. Why aren't people talking about that as much as people talking about Russia and the territories it has? There has to be an equal balanced ground on that
The
issue.
plan to balkanize Russia used to be dismissed as conspiracy theory. These people didn't realize that Russia has nukes. It's hilarious, but they have nukes. Ukraine arms prices are soaring. We need 800 billion to beat Putin. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Have you heard about Rory Stewart?
Explain it to me.
So Rory Stewart was a Conservative MP during the era of David Cameron. He actually a huge highlight in his book, How Not to Be a Politician. He highlighted that he spoke against intervening with the Taliban because they know that it's not going to work out. Only for a couple of years later to be withdrawn and the Taliban take over the country of Afghanistan within months.
So effectively, basically, he's like, what was his name? Like Mosley. He's basically like Mosley. And basically all the other guys, the guys that were basically warning about don't do World War II, don't fight the Germans. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, exactly. He was one of those politicians that's like, don't get involved in international conflict.
Yes.
It's not worth our time.
And what I still don't get what we actually. In 2005, Sweden stopped collecting crime statistics based on race because 95% of the rapes were by non-Swedes. This man is responsible for it. Jerzy Sarnecki. Tell me that doesn't sound like a Jewish last name.
I don't know. I'm getting vibes that just felt like it's
Sounds like one.
Israeli Jewish descent. I
A
don't know. I don't know what else that
Jew
could be.
just increased the draft age by 2 years from 18 to 24 to 18 to 26. So if you are 24 or 25 and war breaks out next year and you get drafted, it's ironically because of a Jew. What's America? Is diversity about getting rid of white people? So what do you think the chances of Hungary leaves the EU? I think it's coming more and more likely.
Yeah. Hungary culturally is a lot more conservative culturally. In fact, it's similar to Italy, but if not more so culturally conservative than most European nations. And also, they don't have much of a say or impact in the EU anyway, so there's no point being there anyway.
Hungary, yeah.
Yeah, I think Hungary can handle administrating and operating the nation all on its own.
I think Hungary and Poland. I think Hungary, Poland. I think Germany and France should leave the EU. Like you should all. I think the EU should fucking be destroyed.
I honestly doubt Germany or France will ever leave the EU. They have the biggest voices, and they contribute the most funds to its.
Wait, are they both friends? Is Trump friends with freaking Kennedy?
RF Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
How can you have a fucking peace summit when Russia's not there?
Remember,
they don't want peace.
They're all gangs.
They don't want peace. They just want war. They want to break. Again, why are these fuckers acting like, oh, it's just Russia we're going after? It's just Russia we're going after. You don't think China's going to side with them? You don't think India's going to side with them? You don't think Iran's going to side with them?
Well, even if they do, what would happen with relations with those other Western nations after that? They don't want to risk that at this stage.
If World War III breaks out, right, they'll side with him, Russia. Russia's got allies, and they'll side with them.
BRICS stay strong, I guess.
The BRICS is closer than ever.
It's always been close.
It has always been close, and they'll always stand together.
Oh yes.
They say it's not a defensive alliance, but it is a defensive alliance. Those guys will never publicly admit it, but it is a defensive alliance. They'll defend each other.
But they mostly benefit economically then
They
defensively.
benefit economically, but they will defend each other because their financial interests are intertwined with each other.
Yes. Money talks, and it always talks.
Who elected Ursula von der Leyen? And she's supposedly friends with a Rothschild. I think ain't she friends with a Rothschild?
I think that's a question for the EU. I doubt we'll get something out of that. I don't think they want to answer that, but that's just life. We'll never get answers from them directly, no matter how hard we try. Not many people talk about EU.
The EU's dead. I'm glad we fucking left. All these fucking there's leftist lunatics that wish we need to go back into the EU. Why? So we a fucking bastard puppet state.
And pay like 300 billion euros every
And for
year
what?
just to be a member.
For what? We can get those deals ourselves. We're fucking Great Britain.
It's the membership fee.
Yeah, fuck the membership fee.
Also, the UK is like big enough to sustain its own exports to other nations.
Again, all we've got to do is do some favourable deals, like give them a fair deal, give Hungary a fair deal, not the point. Give some of these guys some fair deal, right? We could form our own economic bloc if we really fucking wanted. Form one fucking China. We could form one. We could ask or get our allies that would like us.
What about Kanzuk?
Yeah, what the fuck happened with Kanzuk?
I don't know, but I don't think many people are talking about it right
I
now.
like Kanzuk.
It's not. Yeah, actually, yeah. I would like to see a Kanzuk happen.
I say, why don't we just fucking merge the countries together, make something big? Did we ditch? Why don't? Again, I'm surprised that the British, Americans, Canadians, Australians, New Zealand, we just haven't merged into one country. Be an empire that nobody could match. Epstein, why is he trending? Donald Trump Jr., if you're in this room right now, you're probably on the FBI list. You're in good company. I'm on every list except Epstein list. We haven't heard anything about that one in a while. How is that? My father could be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has ever been brought to light. It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, these guys still bring up, oh, he was friends with Epstein. If he was really friends with Epstein, right, and he was on that list, they would have fucking brought that up by now. Let's be real here. They would have brought him up on charges and they would have fucking hung him in prison.
Right, so Turning Point Action held something today or this week, and this is video by the Charlie Kirk show.
Yeah.
You know Charlie Kirk?
Massive Zionist. Turning Point's I'm pretty sure funded by Jews. You'll never hear them criticize Israel, but I'm not saying they're bad guys. It's just you'll never hear them criticize them. But yeah, go on.
So Charlie Kirk was saying, he's putting out the joke that Trump is racist, yet he points the camera to Donald Trump talking to a bunch of black people, which proves the point. How is Donald Trump racist if a lot of black people like him? I think that's the point the video is making.
Nobody wants to talk about, but there's a lot of Republicans that are actually black, especially in a lot of the southern states. A lot of them, they don't talk about it, but it's true.
Yeah.
The WEF has declared that all citizens must be implanted with a CBDC microchip in the very near future, in order to be able to fully participate in society and do basic things such as purchase food and water. That's not the mark of the beast. I don't know the mark of the beast.
Already? Are we making progress for that? Just why?
You should know. You're part of them. Supposedly. Did you?
I didn't choose this life. That life chose me.
Life chose me. I don't blame you. You got to do what you got to do to survive. Either way, even though we do know that they're going to come for you, they will come for you a lot eventually as well, right?
Yes. This conversation and many talks like this in the past is like,
they will come.
We don't like this guy.
They'll come for us.
Yes, absolutely.
They'll come for us all.
Oh yes.
So what happens? So are the illegals going to be fighting in this war in World War III when the war actually comes, or are they going to be allowed to stay here and rape our children?
Well, one thing's for sure, it is likely, not definite, likely, that any of the immigrants have came to the UK, they have the possibility to not get involved in the army to fight in the hypothetical World War III.
It's not hypothetical; it's happening. But yeah,
Yes, but
military age
no
men
one's ready
there.
for that
How
discussion.
funny, Jamie. Let me paraphrase and say something here. Right?
Go on.
What if, while we're being sent off to an early grave, those people, military age men, have been sent by certain governments, certain allied forces to launch coups worldwide.
Yeah.
And the elderly won't be able to defend them because they're on their deathbeds. And the women aren't going to be able to defend them because they can't do shit. And if there's whatever's left. And this is how Rome fell. We let them in. They let them in.
If the women have to choose between going out to war and fight or stay home, I think they would rather stay home because they don't want to get into the hardships that the other men going out to war
I
would go
personally
through.
have no interest in serving dying for no absolute reason, especially for a bunch of Jewish bankers that are going to fucking milk this war for everything it's got. I'd rather be the fucking Jewish bankers and fucking milk this war for everything it's worth. I'm already doing it anyway.
We just don't know until it's too late.
Biden, how's business? Women, good. I got a lot of grants. E.g., it's about I got a lot of free money for doing absolutely fucking nothing, and the taxpayer paying for it.
Oh my gosh, not the AI candidate.
What the AI candidates left wing.
Uh, no, I'm talking about the fact that an AI is a candidate for the general election.
How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet that the Davos Klaus Schwab was in on that? That sounds something that freaking scumbag would do.
It'll be a risky bet, actually.
This guy can't. Starmer can't even explain what the working class do.
Isn't the Labour Party for the working class?
They sold
And,
themselves.
and
Apparently,
yet,
this guy Tony Robinson's apparently saying they sold themselves for years.
and yet they don't know what someone of working class is. How? I don't know anymore.
That's one of the reasons why I don't like Labour because they're a bunch of fucking snobs. To me, Labour's the Democrat. The Labour Party's never been about the working class. The Republican Party, to me, seems more about the working class to an extent in America than the freaking Democrat Party. To an extent, I feel like conservatives are more working class. And let's see what the world. So when's the next vaccine getting rolled out to kill us?
Uh, I'm still certain 2025 is still on the table.
Is that what they've been telling you?
No, I've seen a couple of reels on Instagram
Oh.
many months ago. I think they would have been down by now, but I think that just shows there's something coming up.
Of course there is. They're going to try and use it as a way to scapegoat the election. They're desperate to get Biden back in office.
Well, actually, 2025 would have been the year that COVID could have happened, but of course, a little slip up happened, and there you go. That's history for you.
Sadiq Khan didn't win that election. It was rigged.
No comment. It is what it is. He got in. That's the end of it.
Michel Le Pen declares that law-abiding immigrants who respect French culture can stay, but foreigners who commit crimes will get one-way plane ticket. That's been a little bit too leaning. The definition of that, though, is that just by respecting basic laws, or is that literally still trying to force people to speak your own language?
I'm not sure what to think of that.
Do Jews think that they're elitists? We do think we're elitists. We are the chosen people. We read the Talmud and it tells us we can do horrible things to children, supposedly. That's supposedly their demon document. You got this fucking trans freak general comparison. West versus East. You got this weird guy that pretends to be a woman, and you got this black chick. That's basically a diversity hire. Versus you got this Chinese man and this Russian man shaking hands and acting businesslike. Who would you rather have run the country? What US has done in Africa: built military bases, disrupt China-African cooperation, violate sovereignty, interfere in internal affairs, impose illegal sanctions. What China has built in Africa: over 10,000 kilometers of railway, to 100,000 kilometers of road, almost 1,100 parts, many schools and hospitals, nearly 1,000 bridges. China wants to help Africa thrive, well, the US wants to fucking use it as a vassal and basically strip mine it for resources.
The fact that China are helping African nations more than US, that is just embarrassing.
But they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because they want some financial motive.
Because there's economical benefit.
Yes, economic benefits. They help bring that country into a fucking third world, right? They invest in their infrastructure, right? Build it up, right? They invest in their fucking foreign companies, right? Once they build it up, right, they can fucking they'll reap the benefits of it, right? Those companies will thrive. Their stock market will be worth a fortune. Their stocks will be worth a fortune, and the companies will effectively make a shitload of money and will return money to their Chinese investors. Why is it that China seems like they're better capitalists than Americans, and they used to be fucking communists? Is it because they were?
That is, the math ain't mathing.
Like, but I see more innovation from China than I do Americans.
That's the only thing I ever like about China. They have brilliant infrastructure. Every city major looks futuristic.
Apparently, this picture of Rothschild bankers did 9/11, not Muslims. I agree. Possibly. Did you ever see the video after 9/11 of the dancing Jews or the dancing Israelis?
What was that like?
They were just dancing after 9/11.
Oh dear, that's certainly not a good look. Well, it's not like many people are going to know about that.
It's not mainstream. Jewish tradition of glorification, utmost joy upon committing barbaric crime, terrorism. They have consistently proven. Why is our country being lost?
Which country are you talking about?
Ours.
Well, honestly, there's many reasons. Ever since Brexit, there was a need for foreign workers to come in to provide the services that I'm not to say.
Foreign
Go on.
people. We literally invest in our own sectors. Invest in our own people.
The thing is, when the UK was, go on.
Politicians were too lazy. There's no reason why we couldn't have just invested in our own workers, hired more workers, incentivized people to freaking nurses in the UK, pay them a decent wage, incentivize them. Say, oh, if you become a nurse, right, we'll create apprenticeships for nurses, right? Once you're done, we'll pay the government will pay for your freaking college, your tuition, or something like that.
I would have thought that was something that a lot of countries should have done already.
Yeah, the UK didn't because they're dumb.
Yeah, because ever since the UK has always been in the EU for the last few decades, they've thought, let's just use the workers from EU nations and use that to provide better services. And when Brexit happened, well, there goes most of our foreign workers. Now what do we do? Who's going to provide services at this point? This just wasn't better prepared for that circumstance. It's quite a shame, but it happened.
The peace deal set up by Russia Federation is pretty simple. Ukraine remains unaligned with the possibility of economic but not military. Ukraine is denazified. The new four regions are accepted as Russia. Removal of all sanctions. It seems reasonable considering Ukraine is not in the position to decide anything. Kremlin has stated this will be their last offer as they will consider including more territories. They all want what Russia has. It's an empire.
It's a massive nation.
They want the polls suggest that Russia be broken up into little bite-sized chunks. Far more constructive idea and would benefit not only Ukraine but the entire world.
Have you seen that Tesla crash?
What Tesla crash?
So this guy in California, his, there's a Tesla driver that crashed into this guy's house, and the guy whose house belonged to that got crashed made a video saying that after 3 minutes after the Tesla crashed into his house, the tow truck people came along to take the car away, and then the guy that made the video was arguing, why are you taking the car away? I called the police. They're on the way to investigate it. And the tow truck's like, nope, nope, screw you. We're taking the car. We're buggering off so we can don't get any compensation or something. Basically, it's to avoid what could be very concerning for the person driving the Tesla that crashed into the house, because that would be some kind of lawsuit about someone's Tesla crashing in. And as for someone to take the Tesla away, is to avoid getting out of some kind of court duty in relation to that crash.
Yeah, makes sense. The guy was going to get sued anyway. Anyway,
And even if the guy that drove the Tesla does get sued, Tesla themselves would also be in a lot of trouble, because there has like these sensors that notifies people who drive tow trucks to take their car away, so that way people do not make news stories in regards to the Teslas that crash into those houses. It's typical that not many companies would ever want to get that bad press in regards to those incidences.
yeah. So, do you think Stormer will last? How long do you think Stormer will last before he gets axed, and they replace him with some other goon no one voted for? Do you think he's just a puppet to get them in, and then they'll just they'll sack the guy, and then they'll replace him with the stooge they want to put in?
I think give it at least one cycle, and then I think in the next election, though, at best, I think Labour would have to form a coalition with another party for the next election in 2029.
Do you think Stormer will last that long? They'll fucking replace him in 2 years, and then we'll be stuck with a fucking Labour government for a long, long time, simply because they'll keep on doing what the fucking Tories did, replace the
Yeah,
guy every time they fucking do it, and they'll never get a new election.
yeah. The only reason why Labour is so high up is because the Tories have screwed up so badly. Even if Labour does win a majority, what do they have planned for when they get into government? Will it ever be at the same levels as 1997? I don't think so. It'll never reach that level. But of course, people want to change, and that's the change that.
No one forced anyone to get the COVID jab, says all the people that forced everyone to get the COVID jab. They forced people. It's not wrong.
But it took a lot of convincing to say you need this jab in order to get into this place and that place and so on.
Oh, if you don't get the jab, we'll fire you.
And will pretty much restrict you from entering other premises or travel to other countries.
You will not be allowed to travel in public transport. Justin Trudeau basically said that. You're not allowed to put other people at risk. Clear oxycontin. They literally kill in hundreds of thousands. Zero in fines. Conspiracy theory caused zero fatalities. Fined $1 billion. Rich politician. Media hack. Wait.
Go on.
People are pushing for Tim Scott, right? But he apparently certified Joe Biden's freaking crooked election. Stood with Joe Biden, with Mike Pence certifying that bullshit election.
Oh.
Is Obama, supposedly Obama's a
What about Obama?
Rothschild? Supposedly is related to one.
Or at least one of his parents could be.
I think one of his parents is, yes. I think there's also ties to hit Obama's mother and effectively, I think, Hitler's dead wife or something like that. Hitler's wife, her girlfriend at the time, Eva Braun. Von Braun. Muslim student calls America a cancer during a speech in UIC.
America is the cancer. Muslims are tired of this cancer. They are tired of the American government. They are tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. Then go back to fucking Pakistan or Saudi Arabia. I think the Colombians are going to side with freaking Russia. Colombian president, the so-called Switzerland peace conference is, in quotation marks, is basically an alignment for war, and we do not agree with that. So why is Zelensky an illegitimate president now?
Well, I assume there would have been a Ukrainian election, but because of you know what, uh, I think emergency powers was activated, and Zelensky is still president until the war is over. That people in this world know about. Someone has a lot of questions to answer.
Who? For what questions?
So this guy has gotten a hashtag removed in relation to Men's Mental Health Month. And what this guy in the video is saying, this generally, this is not okay. How can someone remove a hashtag in relation to mental health? Well, other videos that, well, I can't think from the top of my head, but anything that promotes some kind of hate or something that would mislead the public, those videos are still up. So it does beg the question, how are some videos or hashtags being removed or taken down, whilst others are still up, even though people would argue that those kind of videos would be taken down?
Because the Jews have power over X. They have, clearly. Because why else do you think they're trying to allow porn effectively on this platform, which is weird. I don't know
I
why
was
you want that. But,
I was talking about TikTok.
oh, I thought you were talking about X.
No, this was on TikTok.
Detroit resident brags on Facebook, I work for Wayne Co. and ML, and I threw out every Trump ballot I saw, tens of thousands of them, and so did all of my co-workers. Wait, I administered election fraud by Ruby Freeman, Democrat vote counter, who said, I know for a fact that Georgia voted for Trump by the largest numbers, and we didn't do what we did, he would have won Georgia. Read it below. Yet they're not getting punished. They're going to rig the UK elections. We know that for a fact. Like, supposedly the illegals are going to be able to vote on this, aren't they?
Well, it's not just, quote, illegals. There are other people within the Commonwealth and some selected EU nations. They get to also vote in the UK general election as well.
Even if they don't fucking live there.
Apparently, yes.
How the fuck does that work?
I don't even know. But one thing's for sure, if you live in a
If
nation
you
that's
don't
part
live in
of,
the UK, how the fuck should you get a vote?
well, the best people that the UK can give, the best reason they can give is the Commonwealth nations. You know, the nations that were once part of the British Empire.
They decide to fucking leave. Leave us. Fuck them. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too, buddy.
That's just crazy. That's wild.
The World Economic Forum has called for controlled demolition of a global food system as part of a major reinvention of how humans consume food. Basically, they want us to eat bugs.
US visa rejections rate in 2023. Monaco and Liechtenstein 0%. Israel 3.30%. UAE 4.18%. Saudi Arabia 5.01%. Japan 6.05%. Czechia 8.05%. Argentina 8.21%. France 10.11%. Mexico 10.57%. Italy 10.62%. Denmark 10.66%. Deutschland or Germany 10.84%. Indonesia 10.95%. India 10.99%. Brazil 11.94%. The Vatican 14.29%. South Korea 14.44% rejection rate. UK 14.69%. That's kind of funny. Spain 15.66%. Australia 16.75%. Norway 17.96%. Ireland 19.41%. Turkey 20.59%. Sweden 20.68%. Finland 22.82%, Egypt 26.11%, China 26.63%, Nigeria 29.23%, Ukraine 34.29%, Iraq 37.09%, Russia, of course, 39.49%, Pakistan 40.82%, Afghanistan 48.73%, Canada 52.04% rejection rate? That's crazy, man. Iran 53.26%, Liberia 78.19%, and finally, North Korea and Micronesia all have 100% rejection rate for US visas.
Fake populist Maloney lives in an alternate reality where Russia is losing the war, which is a load of lies because Russia is winning this war. European leaders hold a war conference and call it a peace summit. Zelensky demands Russia's unconstitutional surrender, which will never fucking happen. Why are they so up for war?
Because, and this is very unfortunate, and it's not should never be the case, war is profitable.
Just because it's profitable, you're willing to sacrifice nuclear Armageddon.
If it means they'll make a profit, then they'll certainly do that. It's just sad.
So what's the end goal? Does Putin get murdered? What happens?
Did you know that Putin had 50 failed assassination attempts?
Which means he's got tough security.
Yeah. So that answers that. So that answers your question. For him to be assassinated, very unlikely at this point.
Breaking: BRICS countries refuse to sign Zelensky's COMQ at Swiss Peace Summit. Brazil, India, China, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, South Africa. Functioning democracies. Why were they invited anyway? Russia's not going to Is Russia realistically going to break up and implode? Fucking chance. They're deluded.
I mean, I know that some people want that to happen, but it doesn't seem likely. Given
Russia's
the size.
not got that much of a fucking strong base. It's impossible for it to go out like that. It would take a lot more than that.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of manpower to sustain.
Nigel Farage, the net zero agenda is about charging us more money, controlling our lives and our behaviours, and in terms of the environment, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. David Icke is basically said spot on. Why? Ever heard of this? Iceland passes an immigration bill that will strip asylum seekers from access to housing and healthcare for 30 days after their application has been rejected.
If there is a country that that hasn't been suffered the worst from immigration, I do think Iceland is the most likely. They have like roughly 600,000 people on that island. It's very small. If Iceland starts accepting as many immigrants, their population at the lowest would double in just less than 5 years. If they want to, that is likely to happen.
Seems like the Conservatives are going all in on like
UK or Canada?
Tristan Tate. It's Britain deserves better. Neither of the main parties have say Britain. Effectively, both of them got clown faces, which is quite funny. But
Yeah.
Trump did not try to bring Ukraine to NATO. The Trump administration said this was a red line for Russia. We can have peace quickly if we give up on this foolish idea. So how does this end with Russia? Do they end up getting conquered, or does it end up with Ukraine being all absorbed into Russia?
One thing's for sure, Russia is still going to stand as it is. Because firstly, it's a massive nation, and even though even though these sources are saying that Russia's army is not strong enough to take on Ukraine, they're halting it.
They're not even fucking. I don't even think they're really fucking trying. If I'm being honest, I don't think they're
Yeah,
even
exactly.
putting in
They're
a
not
fucking
putting
thing in
much
their
effort.
effort. They're not putting
Yeah.
much effort. Let's be real here. Why would Russia risk their entire army against one pitsy thing, right? And they're fighting against the entire against NATO, right, and winning.
If if Russia's army was weakening, their ranking and military strength would have gone down by now. Or how many stories have you heard about that?
None.
Exactly.
They lie. All will be said is, well, things will happen. What will be done is, but they will. What will be said is, at the end of the day, Ukraine will fall. I don't think. Again, I don't think they say, "Oh, Russia wants to fucking take over Ukraine, right, and take over Poland, take back its European territories, right?"
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
the
think it
reason
really wants them. I don't think. I think Russia realizes they weren't that profitable to begin with.
I think I remember the reason why Russia had sent their army into Ukrainian borders is they didn't want Ukraine to join NATO. That was the main reason why all of this
One
started
of
in
the
the first
main
place.
reasons. I think the other reason is for as well. There wasn't there like a coup in the thingy, right? They wanted to join NATO effectively. They wanted to go to war with Russia, and I think part of the people in those certain regions of Russia didn't want to go to war with Russia, and they basically revolted, and they created and they did a coup, and they basically joined Russia effectively.
Yeah, that does seem problematic.
But yeah, again, it is what it is, and I'm surprised. Again, Mongolia has been asked to join Russia as well at one point, be annexed by Russia, but they said no because they didn't want to disrupt and threaten their relationship with China. Do you think China will betray Russia?
At this time, I think the reason why China and Russia are close with each other because they all share like at least one thing for sure, guaranteed, and it's the demise against the US.
They also share, yes, they also share the fact that literally they. So who's all going to be on the side of Russia in World War Three?
China, guaranteed. Possibly India.
Turkey,
Yes, Turkey. Pakistan.
Iran,
Iran, yes.
Iraq.
Yes.
Who knows? Who knows who all? Who else would probably side with Russia?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. I think it was dumb. They should have never went to war with the Shah, and basically destroyed the Middle East.
Or just
Or
don't go into war at all.
they should have never went to war with the Shah. The Shah was trying to modernize like freaking Iran, turn it into an actual a modern nation, right? He was sending his citizens all the way over to America to learn and be educated. And I'm pretty sure America had a part in like freaking getting that removing that guy from power. Do you think it'll ever come to the point where literally the Americans betray us and effectively try and remove our leaders from power?
I don't think the US see much value in the UK in anything at this time.
Yeah, because they made us weak. We're a vassal.
Uh-huh.
Does the UK still have any power in the world?
Well,
Against
financially,
against
that's
other
about it.
against other countries, but I'm
Other
not.
than
Yes.
finance, nothing else that I can think of.
You don't think that we still have power over Europe, most of France and most of the Europe?
Only financially, because Bank of England.
Don't remember we control most of their money, right? Right. We hold most of our money.
Yeah.
Other with that, we would not much. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Should we end it here?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.